I find it so interesting when, you hear a lot of black people talk about racism and stuff, racist whites and this and that. But look, racism is everywhere, every culture. It does not just exist within white racist people. I've actually heard people act like it literally is, like there's no way that any other race, culture, ethnicity could possibly be racist, which is ignorant. It's illogical to even think that way, because let me tell you, I continue to get so much hatred, especially since my last two videos when I was talking about like the Hebrew Israelites, who they are, and then those that are of the cult, because Hebrew Israelites in and of themselves aren't a cult. They're Yah's chosen people, but there are some that are in a cult, just like any other race and religion, and thinking a belief system, people in a group that believe the same thing. There's a lot of cults in a lot of places, just like the KKK, right? They were a cult, but yet they claimed Christianity, right? But they abused the word to enslave black folks, right? And we all know that. But nonetheless, I get so much hatred, and because of my skin, I'm always get something said against me, especially since my very last video where I said I'm not an Edomite. Whites aren't Edomite, and nowhere in scripture can you find facts telling me that it is. I don't care what you say, because this is what's happening in the world today. If it isn't in the word, it's not word, all right? And it's just your opinion. It's just your perception of what you think of something. To say that Esau came out red and you trying to use that to justify white people, which is silly to me because they're two different colors, it's interesting. Red in and of itself is a pigment. White people have the least amount of pigment, but to just the idea of thinking that a black birthed a set of twins, one being black and then one coming out white, as in a white person, as in a Caucasian, isn't even logical in and of itself. Esau simply came out looking different than his brother. That said, even albinos who come out of a black womb are still considered black people, even though they are whiter than the whitest of folks. So it's just not logical. I continue to get people to attack me, calling me Karen and this and that. How am I a Karen? Last time I checked, Karen was a real person who antagonized black people, who antagonized the black person. And so that is a name that gets slapped onto, white people who antagonize black folks. Where do you see me antagonizing anybody? It's just these hateful, racist people that come in my direction. And, I've talked to a couple people about it, and of course they're like, oh, don't let that bother you, doing this and that, don't let them get to you. I'm like, I'm not tripping off of them. I talk about it because it needs to be talked about, because a lot of people like to think that only they deal with certain opposition, only they deal with certain racism, only, and especially because the topic of thinking whites are Edomites. It wasn't until I went searching for truth myself to find out where my white tail came from within the word was when I found the truth. And it was just so eye-opening, so liberating. Japheth went to the north. He got all the territory in the north of the Middle East, which is what? Europe and the Caucasus Mountains, where Caucasians came from. That right there is so simple to understand. That right there is in the book of Jubilees. But again, Jubilees is one of the books that they took out of the Bible, as they took out a lot of books of the Bible. For whatever reason, a lot of it was manipulation and deception, so we wouldn't know the complete and full truth. But there are so many black folks that hate me because I'm a white woman, and now they hate me even more because I'm speaking the truth that I'm not Edomite. I'm sorry that y'all doesn't hate me the way that you want me to believe that he does, because I'm not Edom. And it's funny because, again, aside from the facts that I just stated, like, how could a black birth a black and then a completely other race? It said two nations were coming out of that womb, not two different ethnicities. Huge difference. But let a racist black person tell it, and I'm Edomite and I'm Karen and y'all hates me and woo this and that. Like, go. With all due respect, shut up. Nowhere in your opinions can you prove that white folks are Edom per the word, that white folks are Esau per the word, especially when I tell you that Edomites were wiped out, Obadiah 18, verse 18. So explain that. If I was an Edomite, I couldn't possibly be here today. But this is the ignorance of people. And then when you give these facts, you give Bible, not opinion, but Bible. Because when it comes to the word, we got to leave opinion out of it and only use the word, right? When you give Bible, all they keep giving you is your opinions, and they get mad. And they want to call you Karen and da-da-da. Like, yo, these people are whack. They're hateful and they're evil. Like, their hearts, what a shame. And you out here professing the Most High with all that hatred. But you know what? It's all good. Because y'all gonna deal with you. He gonna deal with you just the same way he gonna deal with all of us. And if you think going around bashing people, attacking people, and then trying to force your false beliefs on the people that white people aren't gonna make it into the kingdom because you believe they're Esau when it's biblically incorrect, out of line, and doesn't line up, it's not even logical. Just it's an illogical and ignorant argument. Biblically unread people trying to tell them who they are or whatever, only because they really just mad because of what happened to black people in America with the KKK. Something I disagree with, of course. Something I had no parts in, and for all I know, my ancestors didn't have parts in either. Just because I'm white doesn't mean that my white family, my ancestors, had anything to do with it. And even they did, I don't have nothing to do with it. I ain't got nothing against black folks. Again, like I said, like most of my friends are black. I grew up in an all black neighborhood, and if I ever marry, I'm going to have a black husband. And if I ever have a family, they're going to be black. Like, that's just what it is. I'm a product of my environment, okay? But y'all, it's just crazy to think that, you know, how people are and how really opinionated people are. Like, I get it, we all got opinions, but when it comes to the word and what your opinion, and I say opinion because again, it doesn't line up, you cannot back it up with scripture, with all due respect, then in that case, shut up and stop lying on people. And if you're biblically ignorant, and then in the moment that you are proven wrong by me, a white person, you need to fall back and correct yourself. Be humble enough to know when you're wrong and admit when you're wrong, and to understand that, you know what, this is my opinion, because guess what, I can't give her no amount of verses in the world to prove my belief that she's an Edomite, because nowhere in the word does it say that I am. We need facts, y'all, not opinions. And again, if you don't believe in the word, you don't believe in the word. The same for you. But if you say you believe in the word, you believe in the Most High, and the word says do not add nor take away from his word, then maybe you should stop doing it, because he gonna deal with you. He gonna deal with you in that heart. He goes, all right. Word of encouragement. Take care.